It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and that means it's time for another episode of the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Today, Destiny would choose 3 indie comic campaigns for us to look at and review. After we look at them and offer tips, we will choose one to back and support. Stay to the end to see who will be chosen, because in the end,
there can be only one.
how's everybody doing out there? Welcome, everyone. Be sure and leave comments below. Say hi. You might be noticing today I'm running solo. Smurf had a power line go down from the snow, so he's not going to be able to join us today. But this is all about crowdfunding and how to help you have the best success at crowdfunding. So are you trying to raise money for a project? That's what we're here to help with. Unfortunately, not every campaign is successful on Kickstarter. In fact, only 42% of Kickstarter campaigns succeed. So what we are doing is learning what makes the most successful campaigns rise to the top and pass that knowledge and information on to you. So my name is Matt Campbell. I have worked in the film, animation, and comic industry for the last 20 years, and I have done Kickstarters since about 2016. And I've learned a lot along the way, made mistakes. I want to help you not make those mistakes, right? Last show, man, Smurf and I had a great show last show. We had a close battle between 2 really great campaigns. Both of the contenders were animal-based campaigns, but in the end, there could be only one. So congratulations to Conrad von Cottonmouth for winning the Ultimate Showdown, Ultimate Destiny, or the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny, sorry. So this is now our 39th episode. Can you believe it? 39 episodes of bringing you tips and tricks on comic campaigns. Today, I want to open with how some things to avoid, just like the title says, avoiding crowdfunding mistakes. I want to sort of give that feedback to you guys. Let's see, making sure this is all being shared out. I got to do everything myself today, so making sure it's all working. Everybody give a shout out and say hi in the comments if you can hear me okay. Making sure I'm sharing this on Facebook. Doing all the buttons and all the things today. Now, if we might have a special guest today. That remains to be seen. I'm going to leave it as a surprise. Let's see, here it is. Events. Lori says hi from frozen Texas. I think the whole country is frozen. I'm in Colorado right now, and it's frozen here as well. Let's see. There we go. Just sharing this out a little bit. Very good. Very good. All right. So we want to start off with some do's and don'ts, some tips, some mistakes to avoid, that kind of thing. It's a good day to burrito, a burrito. Yes, Lori. In fact, I've even got my blanket over me right now. It's kind of chilly in the studio today. All right. So I think I just got that shared out. If you guys are on Facebook, be sure and share it out. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and like and subscribe. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers and climbing every week. Thank you all that have already subscribed. Okay. All right. So these are in no particular order, things that sort of gathered over the time of having this show and things I've learned along the way. So the first one is something we say on this show all the time, which is don't bury the lead. I heard a sound, and it's actually the sound of my cat snoring. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, because I heard it through my headphones. So yeah, it's something we say on the show all the time, and that is don't bury the lead, right? What's that mean? It means get to the point. In fact, on Kickstarter, they have a tips section from some of the super backers that are on Kickstarter. And that's one of the things that they say, that you want to have, they're looking for clarity about what we're getting right away. And that's something that we like to see in the video or in the content section. Get to the point. What is it that you're getting? Is it a comic book? How many pages is the comic book? What's the story about? Who's it about? So that's tip number one. Tip number two, try to avoid forgetting to think about your shipping costs. Shipping is expensive. You got to get packing material. You got to get boxes and tape and printers. Sometimes people forget you got to print labels. I recommend getting one of those thermal imaging labels because they don't use ink and they last a whole lot longer. But you got to consider that, and you need to go check out how much shipping costs before you start your campaign. Most people that do campaigns already know this one, right? Another one that has come up, like I said, these are in no particular order, is focusing on how much money you're making on your campaign or how much money you're trying to make instead of focusing on value, right? If you are trying to make money, it's really common to say, hey, I'm going to set my book at $15 or $20. And you go over to the reward tier and it's just, hey, here's my book. It's $20. When another campaign is offering the same thing for $20, but they're also offering a PDF with it. They're offering a thank you page that has the backer's name listed in it. And so to a backer, that has a lot more value to it. And so always be thinking about how you can give value to your backers so that they feel appreciated and they want to come back and keep supporting you and not just feel like they're just buying a product and not really becoming part of your community. That's what you're trying to cultivate there. Quinn just said, I liked the video. Thank you. All right. Another one that came up just last week is using fonts or music that isn't license free, especially in your video, but also in your content section. So you want to make sure that when you go find fonts, whether it's to use on your Kickstarter campaign or even use in your advertisements. Some people advertise on Facebook or in other places. You want to make sure those fonts have a commercial-free usage, because as soon as you say, hey, I'm raising money for a product, this is all taxable. You're a business. That's now commercial use. It's no longer just, some kind of fun thing. Same thing for music. If you've watched this show, that we share this out, on YouTube, all over the place. And whenever we share a video that's on a campaign that has music that's isn't license free, it immediately gets removed or flagged. And so then that whole section is not going to be have any audio on it. So that's going to limit the amount of people that can check out your video, right? And that's also going to limit the people who are going to want to share it. If I know that your video is using licensed music, I'm going to be less likely to promote it on my social media, knowing it's going to get blocked. And so that's going to hurt you in the long run, right? If you guys have any other comments or tips on things to avoid, be sure and leave it in the comment section. Share it out. Let's help each other. All right. Especially since I'm alone today for a little bit, I don't have anyone to feed off of. So I do have more, but we'll get to throwing some more of those in either later on in the show or on the next show. Don't want to front load this show too much, right? We have a Wheel of Destiny to get to, right? That's a good one, BMD. Let's go ahead and post that up. Always show interior pages. Yes, I totally agree with that. A lot of people will raise a campaign with a book that's not finished yet, which is totally okay. But you need to have enough content up there that people can get a taste of what they're going to be getting. I'm certainly not going to back a book if I don't know what the book's going to look like. So I'm sure BMG is kind of on the same page with that. No pun intended. Or maybe pun intended. I don't know. All right. So let's get into who is going to be on the Wheel of Destiny this week. Let's share this out real quick. We'll go to this one. Let's just go. Yeah, we'll go with that one. So if you can't read it, so I'm going to read it for you. We have the 4, Iggy, which I think is his last week chance to get on the wheel. This is actually the last chance for several of these campaigns. They've tried to enter and haven't been able to get on, and so this is like the last week for some of them, last few days. So if you haven't had a chance to look at these campaigns, be sure and check them out. The first one is the 4, number 2, by Iggy. Next up, we have Path of the Pale Rider, issues 1 through 6. Then we have Haven, number 1. Crimson Sails, number 2. Recon and the Little One, which I think is a fairly new entry to the wheel. And Call of the Totem, issue 2. Okay. So if you have a campaign that's live next week, or you know someone else's campaign that's live next week, be sure and put it in the comments, either at the bottom of this video or at the bottom of this on YouTube or on Facebook. You can also go to our Actionland Studios page and leave a comment there. Anywhere that we can find it, so we can add it to the wheel. Okay. So we end next week, Lori says. Yes. So again, if you haven't seen some of these, be sure and go check them out, even right like this week, so that you can catch them before they go. All right. So on that note, are you guys ready to spin the wheel? I know I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's fucking go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
All right. Pitter patter, let's get at it. Let's spin the wheel. Number 1 is gonna be, looks like Haven, number 1. It's our first one. Congratulations. If you know the creator of Haven number 1, be sure and go tag them, let them know they're about to be on the show. That brings us to our next one, number 2. Call of the Totem, it looks like. Number 2. All right, again, congratulations, Call of the Totem, for making it on the Wheel of Destiny. We're going to take that off the list. And then there were 4. Who's it going to be? One of these is called the 4. Maybe they'll get lucky. Who knows? All right, the last one. Number 3. Looks like Recon and the Little One. All right, so that means that we have a very special guest going to be joining us. So one of the people that was on this list didn't make it to was Lori Calcaterra, who was the creator of Path of the Pale Rider, and she is now going to join us since she's not on the Wheel of Destiny. Let me switch over to here. There we go. Welcome, Lori.
Hi. Thanks for having me on the show. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So sad I didn't get picked. Darn.
I know the Wheel of Destiny is a fickle bitch.
Sometimes. That's all right. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these campaigns. I don't think I have seen 2 of the 3. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, I always love when I get the opportunity to see them on this show for the first time. I have no like preconceptions of it.
yeah,
Sometimes there's people returning, so I know their story, I know the book, and so there's a little bit of a bias there. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. So thank you for joining us, Lori. So sad you didn't make it on the wheel,
that's okay.
but I know I've already seen that campaign because I checked it out, and so
Yeah.
you guys, if you haven't checked it out, be sure and do that. It's pretty
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, we're still rocking and rolling for one more week.
All right, before we dive in, since you are a creator, my cat is slowly trying to creep up my blanket legs here. You're a creator. You've had some success on crowdfunding. What is a mistake that you would say to avoid in crowdfunding, or
I
maybe
would
just a tip?
say, um, I would say along the lines of shipping is creating a budget and
Hmm.
understanding what's going to happen to that money once the campaign closes.
Yeah,
With the Kickstarter fees, with the credit card fees, how the shipping is included, and that if you have merchandise that's coming out of the funds, how much is left for your artists? If you have, if the book isn't complete, how much art's still left, to be paid for, and then printing.
yeah,
All of that kind of goes towards that total. And so looking into where you set your goal and being realistic on where it needs to be. There's one thing that you talked about, I think, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, of having your goal too low, where it's like, if it's $200, yeah, you get funded right away, but honestly, what are you doing with that $200? And if you really need 3,000 and you don't get there, what are you doing to make up the difference?
It's funny. I was sitting here and I was thinking I was going to ask you that question, what you thought about having a goal that was too low, and you went right into it.
Oh, it's such a hard game that we play as creators. It's like you
Hmm.
want to be funded quick because then like Kickstarter will push your project to the front because the algorithm kind of gives it a boost, but you can't put it too low where again you're going to hit your goal no matter what, but then you're still not financially prepared to produce the product. And so there's just that wiggle. Where do you put it? Where do you consistently put it? You know?
Yeah, it's been my observation of hundreds of campaigns now that, and I went back and looked at the one that we had last week. When you have a goal that's like $250, it tends to like kind of cap out, not much beyond that. And
Mm,
so, that one was currently sitting in like the $300 range. And we mentioned this last week. It's like, what can you do for a comic to create a comic with $300? Like it's barely even enough to print, a couple
not.
books. Generally there's a minimum order on books, so it's certainly not enough to pay for any artists or anything. So it's just very odd to have it that low. Now,
Yeah.
if you are a campaign that knows that you have a following and you're going to hit numbers of a few thousand, I can kind of more understand why you might want to set that number down to like 500. You're going to jump up, you're going to hit that, funded goal in the first day, but then you're going to keep pushing on beyond that, because you
Mhm.
know you have a following. But I think some of that comes down to another tip, which is you got to have a crowd before you can crowdfund.
Yes. Yes,
People
just the
forget that.
planning involved. I think with launching a Kickstarter, I think that is a big pitfall that people fall into. Like, I'm gonna put a campaign on and I'm gonna get funded. Well, it's like there's 265 live campaigns just in comics on
Hmm.
Kickstarter. Um, how are people gonna find you if you haven't done any promotion before you launch and you're launching an issue 1 where
Yeah.
you don't have that Kickstarter email that goes out and it says, Matt is launching another campaign, go follow. So you don't
Hmm.
even have that. So what are you doing to bring people in
Yeah. I
to
mean, how do
get
all
them
these
in?
people that, followed you last time, that could have been, a month or two or several months ago or even longer. How do they even know you've got a campaign launching?
Yeah.
It's not like they're sitting there daily actively like flipping through Kickstarter campaigns. you know and just being on social media and posting um, is helpful, but it's really not going to reach that many people, because like of the, I don't know how many thousands people I have on my personal Kickstarter, but or excuse me, my personal like Facebook. If I make a post, like that only reaches maybe 1 or 2% of those people,
Right.
and so it's not really going out. So those emails are really important. BMD says, I've seen campaigns that would have gotten funded if they weren't asking for so much money. Yeah, that's the other end of the spectrum, is asking
Yeah.
for too much. We had one not that long ago that had a starting opening goal of 10,000,
Whew. What were they making though?
and it was just a single issue comic. And it
Okay,
was
and that's part of the deterrent then. People are like, why do you need this much money to make a
right.
single issue?
Yeah. And I think that also goes hand in hand with legitimacy. If you have too low of a goal, I think it kind of kills your legitimacy, because they're like, most people that fund or that back comics back them pretty regularly, and they
Mhm.
know that on average it takes a few $1,000s to make
Yeah.
a book as well as ship it. And so you're like, hey, you only need a few $100s. That sounds more like you're just taking my money and running, you know?
There,
Like,
yeah,
I don't really
there's
know
that.
why you'd only need a few $100s. And so on the other end of the spectrum, when you say I need $10,000, it's like, why? Why do you need so much? Unless you've got a really good breakdown of why. Yes, promoting interviews on podcasts, YouTube, absolutely. That's something that I've been approached about a lot on this show. Is like, this is one of the few shows out there where we don't. It's not just a come on here and tell us about your campaign platform. And a lot of people approach me, hey, have you on your show? And I'm like, hey, this is a different kind of show. And sometime when I have more time and resources, maybe when we get some sponsorship, I would love to do a show like that. But I wanted to do something different, and we're having some fun with it. And there's plenty of other shows to promote on, and I definitely recommend doing that.
I
Lori
got
does one.
I got 3.
Oh my gosh. Oh
I
my
have 2
gosh.
weekly ones and a bi-weekly show where people can
Gosh.
promote their projects. So come find me.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to get on as many of those as possible. Most people that have those shows are happy to have as many people as they can fit in the time slot that they have, because they want to share it out there. This is a very helpful community. BMD makes another good point. Your debut campaign shouldn't be so expensive if you don't have a track record yet. Yeah, that's that legitimacy thing again. If you've never put out anything, it's your first campaign. A lot of people are hesitant to say, how do I know I'm going to get this and it's going to be delivered? And I understand, especially for a new creator, like if you're the writer and you got to pay an artist and you got to pay a letterer and a colorist, that you're like, I'm looking at, a lot of money and I don't have any money. So you need it all. But, there's other ways to like get that money other than start right out of the gate with like a $10,000 goal.
Maybe not 10,000. I feel like ours, when I launched Path of the Pale Rider #1, I feel like our goal was high in retrospect. Like looking
Mm-hmm.
back at what we did, I was like, I can't believe that we made goal.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was your goal?
4,550 on a issue 1. But
Mm-hmm.
that again, I was that situation, had no money, was paying an artist with a decent page rate, had taken into account the printing, the shipping, and all of that. So I was good at budgeting. But looking back, I'm just like, oh dear God, like most everybody starts a issue 1 at like $1,000, $1,200. But I still wasn't going to be able to make that book with that dollar amount. And so
and that's because you're hiring out all of your artists, right?
yes.
You're the writer, right? Yeah.
I'm the writer.
And so, that's a bigger cost. Like for me, my first campaigns, I think, were like at 3,500,
Mhm.
and somehow, I mean, I think it was by the first or second issue, like we hit into the 5 digits, luckily. But then that money like poured right over into the next, paying for the next artist, and generally, if you have a good following and you have a good presentation, which is what this show's all about, helping people do, then you're going to exceed your goal. If you have a pretty moderate, goal of like $3,000 to $4,000, you're most likely going to exceed that. So like if your real goal is like 5,000, you could probably set your goal at like 3,800 and easily hit that 5,000, especially if you have some stretch goals, line up. Let's see. Brian says, I'm a writer too. I self-funded some upfront to produce the art. First goal is 1,500, then raised 23. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important note to make that, like, if you are trying to fund your book and you don't have anything yet, you're going to have a hard time anyway. Like was said earlier, you need to have art to show us what it looks like. You probably need to have some cover art and some interior art. So that means you've already paid out of pocket to some, and I think that's a good strategy, is to like save up some money or whatever you got to do to get the money to pay for having enough content to then create a campaign to create more content. It's difficult to create a campaign when you have no content, you haven't paid for anything yet.
Right. It's just like, just trust me. Just trust me. You're going to get a comic. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know how many pages. That's cool.
Just trust me, bro. That doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, no, that doesn't generally work well.
So this, jumping into our first one here, let me pull this up here, switch to this tab. There we go. The first one here is Haven #1. I like this one better.
I'm sorry.
Well, this was sent to me by somebody else who's on the show and heavily in the community. And now I'm spacing who it was. I can't remember if it was one of the Travises or
probably.
There's so many, but they were like, hey, go check this one out too. And so I'm glad it finally made it on here.
Cool.
So let's take a look. It's called Haven #1, a superhero noir story. A gritty take on superheroes that doesn't pull any punches, with an emphasis on detective noir. So, Lori, does that one sentence tagline intrigue you?
Yeah, I think I get a pretty good idea of what we're going to get. It's complicated superheroes, you know what I mean? Flawed superheroes, but with an emphasis on maybe like crime solving, detective noir, true crime. Like that's what I'm expecting.
Right.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think it's got a pretty strong hook, and that's the first tip right out of the gate. Is that first sentence is your opportunity to get people interested. If you use a lot of, notice how nothing in that sentence is using a proper noun. Is that the right terminology?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So like, there's no confusion about what I'm reading. It's very clear. If you said, Dr. So-and-so has to face off against the evil character, you're like, I don't know what that means, know?
Or, I mean, this is a #1, but my favorite when I'm scrolling campaigns where it's like number 6, right? And they're like, it's continuation of number 5. And I'm like, if I'm brand new, I have no idea what this is.
Right. That's one of the other tips that I cut off, at the beginning of the show, which was that you should campaign every issue as its own thing. A lot of people are like, they pitch the series. They're like, this series is awesome. It's epic. It's about this adventure, these fighting dragons and stuff, but then they don't get into what issue 3 is about.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to buy issue 3, so why is this one good? But right now, this is doing a great job giving me information about what it's about. They are at 1,990 out of a $2,469 goal, with 64 backers and 11 days to go. So I feel like they're right on target to hit their goal. Let's see. They got a video here. Let's see what the video tells us. Let me go full screen. and then full screen over here.
Hi, my name is Braden Valoria. I'm the creator and writer of Haven. Haven is a brutal superhero setting wrapped up in a detective noir story. I'm working with very talented artists to bring this vision to life. A vision that a year ago started in tragedy. A year ago, my Uncle Garcia, a well-respected cop and even better man, died of cancer. I started searching for a way to bring his memory and his legacy alive. And I created Haven, a story that is multifaceted and its characters are flawed. One in which everyone has a past and skeletons in their closet. And I needed two people to face these unknowns, to face the dangers and the darkness of Rook City. And I created Haven, an upstart hero looking to ignite the hope of the people of Rook City. And in loving memory, I crafted Garcia into the story as the detective. I hope that you look at our Kickstarter. I hope that you back. Thank you for your support.
There's still 30 minutes or 30 seconds of this
Can I do
left.
the Smurf thing?
Yeah.
Smurf waving hand things.
Yes. So what are your thoughts, Lori?
I think where we ended should be where the video ends. I think that
Yeah.
you get everything in that. And I know he wants to show off some of the art, but I think you can do that on the page in the story, which I believe he does. But I like the human connection. I like the meaning, the personal meaning to him in the message, because it kind of draws us in as creators and sympathetic readers, that we too have family that we care about that would love to write them into a story and have them be immortal for that reason. And so I think the video, if you cut off those last 30 seconds, would be perfect.
Yeah, I agree that it's a lot there. Hey, Zing. Is that how you say it? I never really know how to pronounce those names, but I know that I've loved watching his work. I've met him a couple times, but I never really pronounce it right.
I've had him on my show too. He's wonderful.
Yes. And one of the few creators out there who's getting his book out there without using crowdfunding.
Yes.
Now, my thoughts. I agree. I like the personal touch. I always feel like it's a good thing to like, as a creator, if you're the writer or something, to have infuse that personal touch if you can. I like that he's got a personal connection to it, like you said. I felt like the music kind of sets the tone. Like that music beat sounds like something I've heard before, almost like Cowboy Bebop or I don't know, Afro Samurai, something just like this, kind of techno beat, but it could just be like a generic thing, but it fit. I think that one of the things that I think could maybe have improved it a little bit is more enthusiasm from the creator, because I know it's a very personal thing, and he died, his relative died of cancer, and so that's pretty somber. But at the same time, it's like you're excited about this book. You put them in there, and so you want to share it to the world. And if, as Smurf has said before, if you're not excited about it, I'm not going to get excited about it. Right?
This is true. And a lot of times people don't realize, and I mentioned this before, there's 265 projects live right now. You got to touch that person. And a lot of times they're backing it, not just for the product, but because of you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see how passionate you are about it and how excited you are about it. And it's contagious.
Yeah. But, videos are a great thing to have. I always say, like, the most successful campaigns use videos, and this video did a great job of setting the tone of the book. It looked, the music and the noir detective stuff, they seem to really fit together. And it did have that personal touch. I just felt like maybe a little enthusiasm, a little more enthusiasm, I guess, would have done that. And I got to tell you, it's sometimes hard. I'm a very laid back person, very mellow. And when I decided to start the show, I had reservations about being on camera because I'm more like a Bob Ross kind of artist, I'm like, hey, watch me, check this out, and I counteracted that by bringing Smurf on, who's got a lot of energy, and I knew that in like co-hosting with him, he was going to elevate my energy levels, and now I've gotten a lot more comfortable with that. And so, long story short, if that's not your forte of being energetic, that's fine. Maybe bring on someone else who, has that more energy. Happy trees. Yes.
That's hilarious. Or just go watch. My recommendation to anybody who's brand new is go look at a ton of Kickstarters, go watch the videos, see which ones excite you, which ones are kind of blah, which, sometimes they're too long and you lose interest. What is it about a video that calls to you?
All right. So in the video, we got a lot of information about the why this book was made, what the motivation behind the book was made. But were you able to glean much about what the story was about yet?
Not really. I know that it's a detective. I know that there's superheroes. That's about it so far.
Which we got sort of from the tagline. So again, that's another thing that you want to think about in your videos is how can you get to that point very quickly to the audience of like, not only the tone, but like, what are you getting? Like, what's this book about? Because as a consumer, there's only so many things we like. Sometimes we're supporting each other because, we're fellow creators, but other times the rest of the world is out there. They're saying, hey, I am interested in violent books. I like detective books, or maybe I like romance. Like they want to know what they're getting as quickly as possible. And you want to get that to them.
Plus everybody's attention span is short now.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know how it is on the Kickstarter videos, but I do a lot of YouTube research and algorithm stuff, and it's down to 3 seconds now.
Isn't that terrible? You have 3
so
seconds
like
to catch someone's attention.
3 seconds, and so it's not a lot. So that's
I ran myself over with a car once in the beginning of my Kickstarter video to try and garner attention.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw this out to all the other indie comic video YouTuber video makers out there. So this could be also to you. Is a lot of people start their show with this big intro of all this stuff that goes on for 30 seconds. I've seen it go on for like 3 minutes of like stuff happening. And on YouTube, by the time it's over, most of your audience is already gone. You haven't even popped on screen yet. So that's why you'll notice that on this show, I open with a hook and then hit the intro button. And our intro's like 6 seconds. It's like super quick. I think it's like 3 seconds. And then we have a second hook because it's like you're trying to hold on to people as long as you can. So for all those of you guys that are, making videos out there, I want you guys to succeed too, because you're promoting indie comics. Give the people who aren't indie comic creators a reason to watch right away, because they don't know who these people you're interviewing are. It's just like, hey, with us today, we've got this person. You're like, I don't know who that is. So that's what I found to be successful on at least on YouTube, but I think it also would help on these videos as well. But in the story section, the very first thing he opens with is the word premise. So I think we're going to get some information. Thank you, Brian. He's helping me promote right now. Hit the like button. So let's just leave that one up there for a second. It says, Haven takes the brutality of Invincible and the civil unrest of X-Men and crafts a noir superhero story. That's a good line. Haven is set in a world with no alien babies. Haven is set in a world with no alien babies landing in wheat fields, no chemical reactions granting super speed. Maybe a couple orphans turned vigilantes. Instead, people are affected by a human mutation granting them powers. These people are called enhanced. That was a very kind of convoluted way of saying they're mutated like X-Men.
Mhm.
So then Rook City is a cesspool where crime and corruption run rampant. Detective Brightly brings Haven and Inferno in the aftermath of their fight. With a burned down apartment complex and 5 dead, what starts out as interrogation for Haven turns into much more. Among the dead is the anti-enhanced organization Humans for Humanity. As the news hits the airways, the power keg of civil unrest grows, bursting at the seams. Protesters and HFH members are taking to the streets, descending on Rook City, wanting answers and vindication. So I may not have had the best cadence there, but like, what did you get from that?
So, okay, so here's what I'm seeing the story arc as. So we have a detective who there was an incident between these two enhanced individuals, Haven and Inferno. He's bringing them in to interrogate them because apparently things are in shambles and there's more going on. Looks like some unrest, maybe some opinions about the opinions about the enhanced, which will play into this situation. And so, but who's their main character? Is it the detective or is it the enhanced, or still not
Correct.
sure exactly like whose story are we following?
Yes, and I feel like that's an important thing, especially when you have a multicast story. Is you need to tell the audience who they're following and who they're supporting, who they're supposed to be getting behind. And when you only have a sentence or two to pitch your story, the easiest way to try to focus it down into the simplest terms is, who is this story about? Not their pronoun, but who are they as a person? They are a detective. They are a troubled youth. Who are they? And what are they trying to achieve? So they're trying to save the planet. They're trying to, find their long lost loved one. And then what stands in their way? What's the problem? That way that in that few sentences, we walk away with, I wonder, will they or will they not succeed in hitting their goal? Right? The rest of this is just information that is interesting, but can get overwhelming. You start to get sort of a word salad going on in your head, and it's got to work harder to kind of maintain what's going on. You did a fantastic job, like keeping track of what was going on there.
I think it sounds like a good premise. I feel like there's lots of opportunity here. Again, it's just one of those, like, learning how to be concise with your language is hard.
Yeah.
I'm still everybody's still working on their pitch. We could always work on it and make it better.
Yeah, I feel like it's an art form in itself, for sure. So this is number one. This is number one.
Yeah.
Okay. So that threw me off a little bit when they're bringing these people in because they've already had a scuffle. So at first I thought, wait, is this issue 2?
So I think it's got to be from the detective's point of view, where it's like him telling, being inserted into the situation that things have been chaotic, and now it's the detective's turn to kind of sort through the rubble and see what actually happened.
Yeah. But yeah, the artwork looks great. I love this. It says it's a 24-page comic printed on high quality paper. I feel like that's really important, guys, to tell people what they're getting. Is it 24 pages? Is it 48 pages? I've seen campaigns that were only 8 pages. So you want to be clear about what they're dumping their money down for. Right. And so this is a little bit about them. And again, losing their uncle Garcia to cancer. We've got some great artwork. The artwork looks great. Very action-packed, very classic comic book stuff going on. Very well colored.
He's on fire.
I love the Inferno. I'm assuming that's Inferno.
Yeah.
That looks. That
would be funny if it was opposite. I'm like, why is your name Inferno?
Because I have flaming diarrhea.
I just have a personality that's on fire.
There you go. So then we're into the interrogation.
Yeah.
I like there's that noir look. So again, the style fits the what we're being told with that heavy noir shading. So I feel like this has got a nice looking campaign. It's got great looking work. Let's take a quick look at what's being offered in the rewards before we move on. We've got the first one is $5. Get your name in the book on a thank you page in the physical comic and PDF. But it's
But there's no
just your
reward?
name. But it's just your name. I've never seen that before.
Oh,
So yeah, you get your name entered, but you don't actually get the book or the PDF. That's interesting.
I've never seen it that way either.
I haven't
Usually
either.
it's like digital buy-in gets you into the book, right?
So that's
Crazy.
$5. Well, actually, it's
You're in
$4.
Canadian?
Yeah, it's $4.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't it have approximately, yeah.
It does down below. I just need to keep my eye on that. All right. So
What
then
is
the
that?
next one is a digital copy. It says for about $9. And
Hi. That's
hi,
DJ. Hi, DJ.
nice. Hi, DJ. So for about $9, you get a PDF version of issue 1. Now,
I find that a little pricey.
I'm glad you said that first. I do too. I generally sell my comics on my website for like $2.
Mm-hmm.
And on a campaign, obviously the goal of the campaign is to raise money.
Mm-hmm.
That'll go up to like $5.
Yeah, that's me as well.
You know, because people know that they're not only buying it, but they're trying to help you raise money, right? But
Right.
9 seems a bit high. With the digital deluxe for $11, you get the PDF version plus your name.
Okay,
up
so
here,
name on the thank you page is separate.
yes. So up here you have $9. You enter your name, but you don't actually get your name in the book.
Brayden,
This is a
how
strange
you
way of
doing?
approaching this.
I met Brayden yesterday, so that's why I'm giving him a hard time. He can take it. What you doing?
What you doing, Lori?
What you doing, man?
So, okay, this goes back to something that I've said before, and that is giving value, prioritizing value over making money. So,
Yeah.
if I'm a consumer and I say, hey, I can pay for a book, or I can pay for a book and have my name in the book for the same price. Well, obviously, that's got more value. Doesn't cost you any more money as the creator,
Right.
right?
You're already
And
going to
so,
have that thank you page. Doesn't it just, who's on it?
right. And so that's easy value to add. And so another thing that's really easy to add, and we'll see if they have this, is like whenever I have a physical copy, I throw in a digital copy because again, that doesn't cost me anything. And that way they can maybe keep their book closed and unopened and, put it in their comic collection and read the digital version. But trying to find value is going to get more more backers and more followers because they feel like they're being valued. So let's see. So yeah, for $11, it's PDF plus your name and the thank you page. So $13, you get a physical copy, cover A, and I'm trying to see if it includes. Okay, this includes apparently the digital deluxe version, which is digital and your name in it.
Okay.
So maybe this is an attempt to try to drive people to the physical copy by making the physical copy have more value. And then we've got cover B, which I really like that the alternate covers, and you might have a say about this, but in the past I've said I don't understand why alternate covers cost more.
I can see pros and cons to that.
But in this case, they all seem to be the same price.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of choosing which one you get, but you also get the PDF and you get your name in the book with the price.
I usually keep mine all the same. But if I was hiring a variant artist that was either more pricey or I only plan to do like 100 covers and we're done. I'm never going to reprint them. There might
Well,
be
see,
a
in
little
that
more
case, you're
exclusivity.
you're creating the value,
Yes.
right? And that's the thing. Like if I do one that costs more, I'm gonna limit the numbers on it or something like that.
Right. But
Um,
typically mine are all the same.
yeah. You can get all 4 covers for $39. Now here's an interesting one. Be a background character for about $100. That's a good value. And then it also comes with 2 of the
2 covers.
physical copies, and I think some other things I can't see without clicking on it.
It says 8 items, so.
Yeah. So probably the rest of the stuff, the digital copies, stuff like that. So that's a good value. And then there's another one to be in the book to be killed off. People
That's
love
twice
that.
as expensive. What
It
the
is it's twice as expensive to die.
Man.
And then let's see, the Rook City Ultimate Bundle, $300. You get access to the deluxe edition for our future projects free, which is Haven Issue 2 and our unannounced project, Sketch Night. That means you just announced it. This will contain all covers for each issue in digital physical. So you're basically getting set up for those previous campaigns. I would assume also, and you're also you're a character that be killed off and the background character. So you're a background character that gets killed off.
I think, Brayden, you probably got to double check that because usually it's one or the other, unless you're drawing them in twice.
Maybe he just runs up to people in the crowd or the crime scene and starts killing people. I mean, I don't know.
You could always have someone that's a cloner, like they clone into you and they run around with your face and then they die. Who knows?
Right. All right. So this one is the end of it. There has been one supporter of that one and one supporter of the Kill Me Off tier. So that's their whale. Is not only do you get to be killed off in the book, but you also get access to the deluxe edition of future projects. So it's good to have those big tiers. I'm glad to see them. I feel like this could benefit from a little more value on the low end, the digital tiers. And because you have your highest support of member of backers is in the digital copy for there's 18 backers there. You might have more if they got more value out of it, So
yeah, and digital tier is super important if you're. And I didn't look if he has international shipping. Does it say where he ships to?
Let me go to a physical copy here.
Because it says only to certain countries, United States and probably Canada.
That's it.
Guess. And so those digital tiers really become important for your international crowd. Because let's say, like for me, I only ship domestically. I will ship to Canada if requested, but it's only my trade paperbacks that go international. Right. And so I still want to cultivate that crowd by letting them do like the digital. We have digital catch up. We have digital, just so they can continue to be a part of the journey and part of the story. That's important. I did not see a retail tier. And again, those are always hit or miss with the number ones and maybe first time creators. You never know, but it's always, if there is no option, you will definitely have none. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't hurt to just throw one up there just to remind people that, I can ship to retailers. Just to have
especially in the current market with Diamond's situation being sort of up in the air. It's going to be up to us to like directly distribute to these retailers. So I think that's a good one to add. All right. We've lingered on this one quite a while. We're almost an hour in. We've only looked at one so far. But we've been loading this
on this campaign is if you look on that left side, Kickstarter lets you make multiple like different categories, which you put as a headline. And that way it makes it easier to kind of click through the campaign. If someone wants to see your team, if someone wants to see where your money is going, they have questions. That's a great way to organize. So I encourage you to use those if you can. That might help in the future.
Yeah, all it takes is clicking on this and saying, hey, this is the section about the artwork. something like that. And it certainly helps a lot. I totally agree with that. Good catch, Lori. All right, next up, we have Call of the Totem. Let me see if this one will share to it. Perfect. Let me zoom in on this one a little bit. It says Call of the Totem, Issue 2, A Tale of Awakening. A 24-page indigenous historical fantasy about a boy and his new totem's journey of survival through a strange spiritual dimension.
That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah. We get what we're getting, what it's about, the genre, and what they're trying to achieve all in one nicely packaged sentence. So great job to whoever did that. They're at 1157 of their $2,100 goals. So just over halfway with 26 days to go. So lots of opportunities. All right, let's take a look at the video.
$1,400 ago, a tribe's survival came into question. An ancient pact between the tribe and its guardian totems had been broken, and whose future depended on a young boy with a fledgling totem growing inside him, and the father who would risk everything not to lose him. Only by taking a journey through a strange alternate dimension where the creatures would seek to consume them would they gain the strength to survive and lead the tribe into the future.
He must survive this trial. We will need him more than ever in the coming years.
They will not take my son.
Why am I here? What does this have to do with me?
Do you sense it? Whoever consumes it will take its power.
The one that consumes it will be me.
Are you waiting for me to smurf?
I was a little bit.
They come. Run!
I mean,
You're waving. All right. I was looking at the wrong screen there. All right. So I'm going to take this off of full screen. We'll go here. All right. You're the guest. I'll let you go first.
so it has a lot of really good things to the video. And again, it tells us the premise of the story. We get to see the art. I like that they attempted to do some voice work. So they had different characters voiced by different voices, which is cool. I think the pacing was a little off. The music was okay. Again, it wasn't anything that stood out, but I think it could have been more exciting if we had sped it up slightly, because it's a 2-minute video. I don't think most people would get through it.
No, we always tend to go a little longer on this show than I probably would in real life, just to try and give as much exposure as possible. But I'm right on board with you. I feel like I remember seeing this campaign the first time through, and I feel like they've made some adjustments based on passing through this video or this show the first time. Like they have a lot more personal touch to it. There's someone narrating it. There's not a lot of words to read. There was some, quick single word things, but that's okay. So I like you said, I like that they have that, but it's a little slow. And so by that 1 minute mark, I was definitely okay.
You're like, where's Lori's arms? And I was thinking that I was like, but I wanted to see where else it was going to go. If it was going to
change.
Up. Yeah. Cause sometimes it's like slow in the beginning and then there's like, they drop the beat and off we go. So I wanted to
We've
see.
had that happen before. We're like, just about time I was going to click it. Suddenly it kicked off.
I was like, no, I don't think it's going to pick up. So again, I think they're on the right track. I think that with some more practice and execution that they'll nail it. Their video.
So some more things I like about this. Again, having seen the first campaign, the artwork on this is amazing. I like that they're trying to be really clear about what's going on. There's a lot of good information for me watching the video about what this is going to be about. There's who the character is, the journey that they're going on. So I like the informational side of it a lot. I think you're doing a great job with that. Just like I said, maybe the pace a little bit, because I've seen some pretty exciting action, and so maybe we could lean a little bit harder on that. Right. This campaign is doing what you had just suggested on the left. They've got this all broken down. We've got previously in the story. And so the first one is what's called the Totem About, which is the overall story or arc of the entire series. Then we've got the previous part of the story. And then we jump to in this issue. So that's really clear and concise about what happened, what you're getting. Really appreciate how they're breaking that down. So which part do you want me to take a look at here?
Well, can I make a comment?
Sure.
This is my opinion, take it or leave it.
Right.
Since comics are a visual medium, a lot of the people that are backing comics want that visual aspect, and the sooner you do it in the campaign, the more likely you'll capture that 3
There's a lot of
second
text here.
Yeah. So it's not that the text is bad. It's that some people won't read the text. They're just going to scroll right past that to the first image. And so that, again, we're dealing with that 3 second time
Right.
to catch people's attention. And so maybe even just inserting us like one panel of art picked from the issue or something to break up all the words might help.
I think that's super great advice. In my design classes at the college, we talk about this a lot, that, people used to be able to sit down and read like a very long newspaper article or a long magazine article. And now we have a much shorter attention span. So to get the same information across, you need to like put it into bite-sized chunks. And so this isn't really like that long of a paragraph, but there's, like you said, there's no visual attention, and they're going to want to go down and jump down here and look at this cool artwork,
Right. That was my first thing. I was like, can you scroll until we get to art? I want to see how far down we have to go. And so people might scroll to the art and then keep going.
And then never really catch what this is about. So maybe just opening with this at the very top. And then here it says, what's Call of Totem about? Call of the Totem is a story about of a father and son. Now, I feel like you could mix some of these sentences to make one quick sentence. It says, a son who must find his own path and survive long enough in a dangerous world to realize his destiny, and a father who struggles in finding the balance between keeping his son safe and giving him the necessary freedom to grow and struggle on his own so that he can become the man he's supposed to be. Oh my God, I could barely breathe to say that whole sentence.
I think
that's a lot.
This is a finesse place where it's like you start out with the elevator pitch, right? So we had the one line that was really good. And then maybe in this top section, more words than the top one, but not as much as, you know what I mean? It's like it's like pitching at a Comic-Con table. You get them to stop by saying like, your tagline. What if for me, it's like, in a world where death is broken, what's that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you tell them more. And if they're still standing there, okay, then you give them the rest.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get people to stay in the campaign. And I think you're right. That's quite a bit of words, BMD nerd, where it's like, again, I would probably scroll into the first picture.
But I mean, I do love that this information is there. I just feel like maybe either consolidating it a bit and then mixing it with some imagery. Consider this, like, if you said you had the opening cover image, that's going to be the first thing we want to see. Then we say, what's the Call of Totem about? And I say, I have another picture with like words over the top of it that has a picture of the father and the son. and it says, this is a story about a father and son. And then I have a picture of the son, and it says the son's trying to find his own path. And then I have a picture of the father, and it says the father's trying to do this. And it's these bite-sized chunks with visuals that a person can just sort of quickly jump one thing to the next and process, you know?
That sounds like great advice right there. Because not only that, you're introducing the characters, visually you can tell who is who. So when you look at this story, you're like, who's the father? Or is that just, is that the head
Yeah,
of
like
the
right
tribe?
now,
Is it somebody?
I don't know right now if I'm looking at the father or the son.
Right. Exactly. So that way it breaks it down. You're showing off the art and introducing your characters. That's great. DJ hot sauce works too. Yeah, it does.
Yes. If you don't make your point immediately, people won't bother. That's the thing we say every show, don't bury the lead, right? But in this case, I think he's making the point. It's just there's a lot of points all at once. And so this is the exact thing we talk about in my graphic design class. Like if I have to, explain to you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I need to show a visual of the jar of peanut butter and say, get a jar of peanut butter. Then I need to show another visual of a jar of jelly and say, get a jar of jelly. Grab a knife, show a picture of it, like exactly what we're doing. And so it's like visuals and words dancing together, and it just in the same way that a comic book and a word blurb work together. Use that in the way that you present your work, and it'll be in the way that your audience is used to receiving that information anyway.
Yes. And that was my point of maybe some more art up top, because that's what people are used to with comic books. Like this image is beautiful.
Right. And this image, it looks like a younger person. So I'm going to assume for a second that this is the son. So if you took this image and overlaid it with this information that says a son who must find his own path and survive long enough in a dangerous world to realize his destiny, that goes with this image in one sentence.
Do you think you could do, because I know sometimes you can click on it and there's looks like a little computer, you can do like a caption under the image. So
you could
it's
probably
smaller
do that.
words, but at least it's still there, because visually I'm drawn to the pages more than I am going to be to anything in words.
And I feel like I remember this from last time, and just this absolutely stellar looking artwork, really intriguing and well illustrated, and
is
and
friend
so
question mark is friend shaped, but is friend question mark? I don't know. Like that looks scary. I would not be friends with that pack. No.
Yeah, it's a very unwelcoming looking kind of pack there. This is interesting. Before ordering, please be aware that you'll have the opportunity to include add-ons. Oh, okay. We've got variant covers down here.
Nice.
I know I'm going through those kind of fast, but trying to speed this show up a little bit. This is the first 21 supporters to pledge for a reward with the above Charactus cover will receive one random 3x3 original mini print from the artist. Mini print shown below. Interesting. So they had some early rewards. But all in all, I feel like this has got a lot more stuff in it than the first time I saw this, several months ago when they did issue 1. So I feel like they're improving and they're learning and they're getting better each time.
That's great.
Over here, we've got a digital copy plus issue 1 catch up. So 2 issues for $8.
That's a good price.
That's pretty good price. And then we've got the main cover for $12.
Was there one before that $8 one that we missed?
No.
Okay, so you can't just get issue 2 by itself, digital?
Apparently not.
Oh.
So if you bought issue 1 digitally, you can't get issue 2 digitally. That's interesting as well. Good catch on that one. So then we've got the main cover, the variant.
These physical and digital? Yes.
Hold on.
It says physical call of the totem number 2.
I thought I recognized that artwork. So this guy right here is my former student.
Oh my gosh.
Caleb's been crushing it. He's got a very unique inking, like messy inking style.
It's nice.
Like
I
Jason
like
Sean
it.
Alexander. Are you familiar with Jason Sean Alexander?
No.
He's more of a mainstream artist, but he uses
Probably
a lot
why I
of
don't know him.
splatter and grades. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I was like, that work looks familiar. So it was him. And then we've got also all of his variants are the same price as well. And then we've got a blank cover, which is more, interestingly.
I can understand that. I guess it's more expensive to print those. Like the sketch cover, is each one is more expensive. I get that, but maybe not a whole $4.
Yeah.
It's like 40 cents more. It depends on where you order them from, but
Right.
it's like 40 cents more for that type of paper on the cover.
Then we've got some packs. So 1 and
Okay.
2, all 5 for 50. Wait a minute, what's the difference here? Call the Totem number 2, all 5 covers. Call the Totem number 1, all 5 covers. There we go.
Okay.
That's the difference. So
Was there a catch-up tier for 1 and 2 that we missed?
Steven's actually
Physical.
watching us here, and he said, this blank cover, you actually get 2 copies.
Oh, okay. That explains it. Thank you, Steven.
Yes. And then you said, was there a catch-up tier?
Yeah. Is for physical 1 and 2? And
I
maybe
believe so.
digital? Scrolling
Well,
too
the
fast.
very first one, remember, was both copies digital.
Yeah, but what can you get both copies physical?
I believe so. Let's see. Variant.
Sketch
Variant.
cover.
There we go. There's our
There we
catch-up.
go. Main
So
covers.
1 and
Yes.
2 main covers. And then you also get the digital PDF of issue
Nice.
1 and the digital PDF of issue 2. So that's a good tier, and that's a good price.
Mhm.
$22
Yeah.
for all 4 of those things. It's a great looking tier. And then we have all 5 covers. Then we have the all-in catch-up tier, every main cover for both issues 1 and 2. So that's a total of like 10 books. And the digital rewards as well. So that's a great one. The educators package. All right, I'm an educator. What's this say? Like to bring comic book making process to their middle school or high school. Virtual 50 to 70-minute lesson with the teacher's class by writer Stephen Collis can be gifted to the class or purchased through PTSO. I don't know what PTSO is. So that's a pretty cool reward.
That is cool. And that's the first time I've seen people do that. And that's interesting because it's a indigenous tribe. I think that would be really cool to introduce that to a classroom. Of course, it just depends on the material, what grade you're bringing it in.
I definitely got my attention with that, being that I teach a comic book class at a college. Maybe, depending on how much time is left in this campaign, maybe I can get the school to fund it.
Ooh.
Yes. So get some school money there, but that's a nice big tier. And then above that, we have $100 tier.
That makes perfect sense.
Steven's a high school teacher. That makes sense that you thought of that. Most people don't. And so that's a good one. So all in all, Steven, I love the artwork. I love all the different tiers that you have. One thing that Lori noticed was that there's not a tier for just the digital of issue 2. Maybe that's available as an add-on, but like that might be just which one that might be all the thing I need to get, for instance, if I backed this last campaign because you won the showdown, I generally go for the lowest tier because we back so many, and so I'm going to be wanting to get issue 2, right?
And my belief is to try and make it as easy as possible for people to back because again, everybody's attention span is so low that might be like, I'll go back and I'll look for that. Maybe I missed it. Then they get busy and they forget. So as long as it's, the more easily accessible the tier is, the more likely people are going to get it. If it's in the add-ons, people at that point, they're like, I'm done. They might not even stop to look. I back a lot of things too. So that's my case. Usually I don't even look at the add-ons a lot of times because I just know what I want. So I might miss it.
All right, Steven. So hopefully you got some helpful feedback from that. Great looking campaign, great artwork. I love how you have all these tier or breakdowns on the left. DJ wants to know what college I teach at. Are you going to come stalk me?
He might.
He's
good people. I can vouch for DJ.
So yeah, I teach at Pikes Peak State College here in Colorado, and I have a comic book class currently. And I love that class because they make each student makes a 3-page story, and then we go through the whole process of doing the layouts, penciling it, inking it, lettering it. Then we send it off to one of my printers. I do the cover. We put it together. It's put together and then back in their hands before the semester ends. And then while it's being printed, we go over coloring techniques, which keeps the comic affordable, but also lets us continue to work while it's being printed because it takes like 2 weeks. So Jesus, I've taken classes there. Nice. Didn't realize that you were in Colorado. Cool. All right. So that brings us to our last one, which is Recon and the Little One. All right.
Gotta fill out that survey, Matt. I'm teasing. Teasing.
So it's, I know. That's the one from last week already.
Wow.
So it says, I need to refresh this screen. So hold on a second. Stop sharing for a second, then reshare. Gets a little finicky if I keep just switching tabs for too many times. There we go. All right. Says Recon and the Little One, a sci-fi horror one-shot comic. Right. So again, getting clear on what it is we're getting. Imagine if your favorite adorable droid was a zombie killing machine tasked to save the last girl on Earth. So, adorable droid killing zombies to save the last girl on Earth. Right. That's an interesting premise.
Forward, right?
They are at 1,987 out of 3,000, so just about 2/3 their goal. But they've got 28 days to go. So unless they had an extra long campaign, they just got started.
He just launched. I looked at this one last night too. I was on Travis Gibbs' podcast with the first one and now this one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So then that means that they've accumulated quite a few backers in a very relatively short amount of time.
Yes.
Which generally tells me that this person either has launched campaigns before or they already have a pretty strong social media. And of course, it's Sean, who we know does have a lot of
both.
Does both, right? Sean's campaigns have been on this show before.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see the video. Let me go ahead and make this full screen and then this full screen. 52. All right. What did you think, Lori?
I think it was short and concise. I think it did a great job keeping us. I mean, we were both bopping along to the music, so that was good. And now I've heard Sean talk about this, so I know the personal connection he has to this. And so I would think like the only thing that could make that better is to hear him really quickly elevator pitch it and then to say what his connection is to this story, why he wrote it, because it's powerful. So
yeah, honestly, I love that kind of approach where a creator will get on the camera for 10 seconds or so and say, hey guys, this is my thing. I put a lot of work effort into it, and this is why I made it. Check it out. And then boom, you jump into all this because you get that personal connection, but you don't really have to be on camera for too long. I definitely enjoyed the speed and the tempo of this. There was reading involved, which I generally don't like, but they were kept pretty short and sweet. I say reading, I don't like in video. But to be clear, but they were mostly short and concise, and they were on the screen long enough that I was able to read them. We've had that problem before where like it's moving too fast. I don't have time to read it. Most of these were like 1, 2, 3 words. So that works well. You did a good job with that as well. So all in all, I think this is a nice video, good looking video.
Agreed.
And the artwork, I love that there was a lot of artwork shown. It again kind of emphasized the premise again of like what I'm going to be getting, what it's what's going on. There's a robot trying to save a girl
from zombies.
From zombies. So I like those clear and concise kind of situations because you can have more layers, the bloomin' onion kind of thing, but like we want to start with something simple, and then once they're hooked and they're into it, they can start unpeeling those things in the book itself. Right. I was vibing to the music, driving. Yes, go Avs. Agree. By the way, I don't know if anyone saw, but 2 of the Avs players were on the Canada team that just crushed it. I think it was last night.
Crushed
Canada versus USA
in the face with their fist. There was a lot of that going on.
Yes, but I have a McKinnon jersey and a McCarr jersey, and they were both on the Canada team last night. So go Avs, and apparently go Canada. But
yay sports.
Yay, sports ball.
Sports ball. Yeah. That's when I bake bread. Like, yay, bread.
Yep. I'm generally not a huge sports fan, but I became intrigued by hockey because I got to go to a lot of games, and going to real live games gets you more intrigued for sure.
Colorado has a good team, right?
Yes, they won like 2 years in a row just recently. So, all right, let's jump in. After 3 previously successful campaigns with our first series, The Fog Within, we're proud to present our new set of one-shot comics in the universe of Recon and the Little One. Here's the premise. Food is scarce. Scientists go too far with bioenhancing what is left. A vine-like infection grows from inside, causing a need to convert everything back to the earth. Humanity starts to lose a war against this infection. In fear for survival, they build a robot army to fight in their place. This story starts at the end of humanity. The robots are now without a purpose, or so they thought. In this 24-page dystopian robot versus zombie comic, which follows an overexcited recon bot with a mission to keep the last girl on Earth safe. Nice. It's Samurai Jack meets Wally, tasked with saving the last girl against zombies. Right? So very, again, clear, concise, and up above. Notice, like we were mentioning in the last one, even just little graphic design logo is something to look at that I'm going to pause on for a second, opposed to words.
And I think he did a couple things really well in this first section, like you said, with the art. Also, he's changing up the size and the length between the words. So we have big words in bold. We have small words that they do their purpose to keep it short. And then we have a break, and then it's like, again, this is what you're getting in bold. The 24-page dystopian robot versus zombie comic jumps off the page. Because if everything was in bold and the same size, that would be lost, right? And I do like the fact that he mentioned, I'm an established creator. Because a lot of times with that first campaign, you're always like, I don't know who this guy is, if he's brand new, if he's going to be able to hack it, right?
Legitimacy, yes.
Right. And so when he says, we've already been funded on several campaigns, he lists that so you can go do your research and see his other campaigns should you choose. But that's also a great way to cross promote, because with this one, people could get into this series and be like, what else does Sean write? And then see right there at the Fog Within and go find it. So I think that was a good marketing move.
Yep. And again, these kind of lessons are the things that you learn from doing campaigns over, from having friends that do campaigns and paying attention. So if you're still in your first couple of issues, just keep learning, keep absorbing, and keep being involved with what other people are doing. Each one gets better and better. Then we jumped down into the different covers. We got this one here, and then we've got this one. That's a cool looking one. And then this one. These all have that very dynamic cover, like great looking cover style. Really bringing me into what's going on. Like even at this cover, I can see that there's a robot protecting a girl from zombies in one shot. That's what's really perfect. Then we've got some page work showing the pages, which we saw some of this in the video, but again, looking really, really great here. And then I'm going a little fast now, I know. And then we get into the rewards. I like how in this particular thing, they are like showing us visual examples of the rewards so that you can kind of look at them all in one place instead of having to scroll. So it looks like you can get the digital issue for $5, the standard cover and the digital for $12. And the next one is a t-shirt and a comic right out of the gate with the t-shirts. That's interesting. You can get all 3 covers for $35. And then there's an all-in package, which I'll go check out the details of here in a second. Then this one is another intriguing one. A 6-inch statue of the robot plus all 3 covers.
Yeah, that one's limited because we were asking him questions about that last night. And these are not 3D printed. These are sculpted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he was like, I had to check with the guy how many he could make before I put it on the campaign. With the pre-planning, right? But that's why those are the price that they are.
So, for those of you that are, relatively new or just getting into this, sometimes those things are hard to figure out because you got to figure out how to package that thing, make sure it doesn't get broken. But those are going to separate you from everybody else. Like out of all the 265 campaigns, I'm sure there's not very many that have sculpted, hand sculpted statues. So that makes us stand out as being unique, right? There's also a drawn in zombie. Oh, so you could be a zombie in the book, a guest appearance zombie.
Love it.
And here's our we got a metal trading card, stickers, bookmarks, lots and lots of stuff. And this is another sign of having a previous campaign is that the money from the previous campaign has gone into creating all these extra things.
Right.
That's generally sign. This is cool.
It's important. I think he's on it. This is his 5th campaign. And so he has an audience that's coming. And a lot of times they want more than just a comic. So that's the difference between, like you said, like a first time, campaign and a 5th campaign. People are going to be looking for that merchandise because maybe they've been along and they're getting the comic, but they want to support with more dollars. So it makes sense for him to have all that merch and the t-shirts and the add-ons at this point.
Stretch goals every 20.
I don't think either had stretch goals on the other 2 that we looked at.
Not that I saw.
Maybe we could have missed it. Sorry if we missed it, but
yes. It might not have gone down far enough. So if I missed it, I apologize. But stretch goals does two things. One, it gives people who are showing up a reason to want to continue backing. Actually, does three things. Number two, it gives people who've already backed a reason to go share your campaign so that they can reach those stretch goals. And number three, it instills confidence that you're pretty sure you're going to hit your goal and go past it, right? So those three things. Now, just like setting your goal, setting your stretch goals at a place that makes sense is also another one. Like these are only going up in $500 increments, and so that's attainable. But I love this first one. In my campaigns, I sometimes do both. I'll have stretch goals, but I also have backer bonuses. And backer bonuses are based on how many backers you get. And that's what this first one is showing, is every 25 backers, 2-pack creator PDFs. So I'm assuming those are from like other indie creators, or maybe it's just from, one of them's from you. All right. Very good.
It could be. I offer my issue one up quite a bit to creators. And I love
here they
that.
are.
Yeah, I love that. Because everybody wins. Because Sean wins because he's rewarding his both physical and digital backers. So everybody can be a part of these, not just the physical backers with stickers and bookmarks, right? It doesn't cost him anything additional to release all of these. So it's not a huge financial burden with these stretch goals. And then with the creators, they might find someone in Sean's audience that also really likes theirs. And you might pick up new audience members based off of him sharing your creation. So everybody wins.
You can never go wrong with cross promotion. And in this case, like you said, this is a clear indication again that Sean's been heavily involved in the comic community to reach out to these other creators and say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Would you have a book that you'd be interested in putting in this? And so I've seen and have several of these books. I know Anenra has been on this show. Immortal Era has been on this show. Redemption.
Really chaos. Got it.
Yes. So
I was like, check all the chocolate, check that one. Yeah.
Check. Yeah. Yep. So, it's a pretty great way. And the fact that it's, again, based on backers is just another great addition to this, because it's really a big way to promote getting more backers is more important to you than getting more money. And again, they will go hand in hand, but like, if that's why I had backer bonuses, because like if you promote, hey, we're trying to reach 300 backers or whatever, then it takes off of the sheen of like, hey, we're just here to make money,
Yes.
And so this is a really cool part of this. I really like this part. And then we got a little bit about the creators down at the bottom, and I love too that that's down at the bottom. Sometimes people will put the creator stuff at the top, and we've said this before on the show. People care more about what they're getting than they care about the team, right?
Unless you got an big name attached,
right?
Like Worthy Chaos, Carissa Grant had a big name.
The last one had a huge name.
He was a Marvel artist, right? Or DC, right. I forget. But he was big name when it came to covers, and that
makes sense
up front because it makes sense to do that. But again, Sean, me, people don't really know me. People don't know my artist, So it's like, I think you mean shouting.
I hope so. Otherwise, he's shouting books.
I was like, I'm not sure what shouting means.
Are you shatting? Are you shedding some books?
Shedding books. We're shedding books. Shedding them like, hey, I'm shedding hair. It's just dropping books everywhere. But
yes,
I'm
we
with
know
you.
what you meant.
Like,
sure.
Unless you got a big name attached, it doesn't make sense to stick that up top because people are like, scroll.
Yeah. So yeah, great job on the layout. Great job on the video. We've looked at the rewards because the rewards were already on the inside, but I wanted to take a quick glimpse down at the bottom at that big one, the one that said the all-in package. It says, make sure there wasn't one before it. Oh, wait. Indie creator advertising tier $50. Half page ad in the back of this comic. That's interesting. That might be something that we might be interested to hear on the show. So that's a good one. But now in the all in, it says a physical copy of cover A through C, all 3 stickers, metal trading card, metal bookmark, the 6-inch standee, which is not the same thing as the statue. Don't get that confused.
Right.
The T-shirt based on the cover, medium, available in small, medium, or large. So that's a lot for $60. That's pretty great. So there's some really great bundles here. I would be interested to know what
What's
happens
here
for somebody that has a larger than a large, because I'm an extra large for sure, and I know that there's people who wear even larger than that. Draws a zombie is 125. The statues 160. That's the biggest one.
Okay.
And surprisingly, I don't know how yet, no one's jumped on this this hand sculpted limited edition bust. I hope so, because it's super cool. I think that would be something. Maybe it might be down here, but I'd like to see like a nice big close up of that thing down here.
He has one.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, maybe to show it off a little bit more. It's because he had it yesterday on the show and he showed it off. We zoomed in on it. So that's the other thing I noticed. He has those categories on the left, but I don't think he's utilizing them.
Gonna go back down here
because like you're looking for the statue,
that.
But
here's the statue. That's about the same size as that. I think that's as big as we get to see it right there.
Yeah. But that's in the section that's we are proud to present our new set of one-shot comics. See what I mean? Like he has the different sections, but he was showing off rewards. There could just be like a close-up of rewards tab where you can click on that and go directly to that.
Yeah, that's because that's a big section right there. Because we got the. So yeah, I'd like to, because this is really cool, and I want to see, like, I can tell it's detailed. I want to kind of like get a close up of it. Maybe even like because you can insert videos. You could like do a little turnaround of it or something. But that's super cool. I hope some people grab it. I don't know if I'll be able to or not, but we'll see. All right, guys. It's that time. We've come to the end of the show. We got to make a choice. Are you ready for this, Lori?
I get my pen here, my fuzzy blue pen.
All right. So leave your choices in the comment section below. Which one do you feel like is going to get our backing this week? We've got Haven #1, the superhero crime noir detective. We've got Call of the Totem, the indigenous story of father and son. And then we've got Recon and the Little One. Tough choices. They all looked good this week.
They all looked great. Like the art was beautiful on all of them. I wish I had money to back them all.
I know.
If I win the lotto, I would just go back Kickstarters and help creators and make my own comic. Mm-hmm.
All right. I have my choice. I
wrote mine too small. We'll see.
We'll see. The main thing is writing it dark enough that it shows up on camera.
Yeah, that's the question. If I did it.
Yes. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
Focus. we chose the same.
We chose the same.
Yes.
All right. Good job.
Congratulations.
Steven, you had an amazing campaign as well. I still might want to go check that out. I can tell you that if you put on a reward that's just for issue 2, I'm going to be a whole lot more likely to go add that one on to my list as well, because I think I already have issue 1 from a previous campaign. And also to Haven #1, congratulations on that. It's a great show, guys. great submissions this week. If you have a campaign live next week, be sure and leave it in the comment section below, or go to Action Line Studios and leave it on one of the posts there, or message it. Just let me know so we can add it to the Wheel of Destiny.
Next week, Friday?
Yes. Is there something happening on Friday?
Yeah, my campaign ends next week, Friday at like 8 p.m. So I'll just be able to squeak in.
Yes. All right. We got one more chance. Yes. All right. Good. So, let's see. Let me see. Now, the other thing is, if you like this show, be sure and like and subscribe, especially on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can unlock the sponsorship and use some of that money to continue to support comics, as well as, I'm sure most of you who do these shows know that StreamYard's now like $45 a month. And so, yeah, other than that, you can also find my books at actionlinestudios.com. I've got 8, about to be 9 issues. By the way, books are supposed to arrive tomorrow for issue 9. I'm super excited. And also nervous because the printer that I used, they wanted $50 for physical proof. And I was like, I don't know about that. And so I'm winging it and hoping they look good. Yeah, I was a little taken aback because I really like this printer. I like their work, but I was like $50. That's crazy. Now, that being said, Action Line Studios, Matt Campbell Art, that's where you can find me. Where can they find you? And also go ahead and tell, a quick little bit about your campaign, since didn't get to have it on the show.
That's okay. It's live right now. I'm the writer. I'm Lori Calcaterra. Let me go back. I'm the writer-creator of the series called Path of the Pale Rider. It's a Western apocalypse series where death has been broken. So we follow a cowboy who's like the last guy still looking for the answer. Why did the dead no longer die? And you get everything from undead people who are not flesh craving or brain eating, but they are like dimension fast forward. But we have undead everything. So we have zombie bears, and we have swarms of undead bugs and conspiracy theories, and we have hot sauce. So the campaign is live until February 28th. I am on all sorts of things. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, blah, 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 blah. I host several podcasts. I'm on the Tuesday Morning Brew every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I get to interview indie creators and show off their cool stuff that they're doing. On Wednesdays, I host the Any One World Showcase. It's the same kind of idea, but it's for the publisher that I use, ASAP Imagination and Any One World, which is fabulous. And that's how I'm able to ship internationally. You should check them out. And then on Fridays, we have a new episode dropping tonight. I have this intentional dumpster fire of a show called Killer Karen, where I put on a blonde wig and I take on the personality of Karen Needlemeyer.
What?
I would describe this as the extreme podcasting, because even though we're promoting, we're doing it in a way that just makes you laugh, and we're super silly. It's acting. Don't come at us. It's Between Two Ferns with Karen Needlemeyer, the Mayo Empress of who knows where. So
I love it.
Greg Moquin is on tonight, and he had a blast being on the show. So
I want to see this. I definitely want to see this.
Be prepared.
Also, be sure and hang out after the show. I want to talk to you about your other shows and maybe getting together to be on that show.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, just this was fun. Thanks for inviting me to co-host Smurf. Sorry you're not here, but I had a blast. So anytime you need a co-host, just give me a call. I'm usually free on Fridays this afternoon. So at this time.
Well, you did a great job. I loved your input. You had some great feedback as well.
Thank
I think
you.
it comes from being a creator yourself and having some
Kickstarters.
experience. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks so much for everything. And with that bombshell, we are going to be out. And we'll see you next Friday. All right.